Lord, I forgot how stupid this episode is. I mean, I'm not even sure where to begin. Like, okay, one of the things I've noticed over the years is that science fiction writers tend to not have a good idea of space. Now, this is actually a part of a larger problem, which I call Doctor Who syndrome, but just bear with me, okay? Here's the Malevolence, right? And they've got this Doom ion cannon weapon. And here's the other fleet, which is like three Venators or Acclimators, I forget which. And they're coming over here. And they're tracking these people. Now, they're really, really close to each other, relatively speaking, to the point where they're actually in firing range, but I'll get back to that in a second. So this is how they track them, by being so close that you could spot them if you were literally looked out the window in the right light, right? So, oh my gosh, they've spotted us, what do we do? And the Malevolence shoots its ion cannon, and they're like, oh my god, shoot! But we're out of range! And then the ion cannon takes out all three ships, and then the Malevolence starts firing on them. Now, this is also important. The Malevolence also starts destroying them, like shredding them. Now, granted, no shields and no defenses, but at the same time, I point that out because that means the Malevolence is well in combat range. See, the thing is, the whole point of energy weapons in space combat is that they dissipate. No, seriously, that is the predominant point. Because if you shoot projectile weapons, they'll just keep going. You know, Isaac Newton, Mass Effect 2 reference, etc. So that means that they're in at least decent blast range for these blasts to still be a significant impact because they take out three capital ships. And then the Malevolence just sits there, keep in mind, basically in spatial terms, in spitting distance of this wreckage, and just is like, yeah, whatever, and doesn't do anything until they've lost contact with their little droid hunter ship, which apparently takes forever to do its job, consequently. Also, I see the demonizing of the droids continues, literally humming to themselves as they're trying to kill the enemy, and the humanizing of the clones continues, although I find it funny, they're like, I thought no one was going to come for us. They were here for the Jedi, dude, sorry. And then, you know, Skywalker and Ahsoka are like, okay, we've got to go find them. We have to save them. Okay, so they hype in? I want to say warp in, but that's a Star Trek term. They jump in. There we go. They jump in, and they go to the wreckage field and they start scanning for them. And apparently, their scanners are either garbage or the little comms on these escape pods are terrible. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, well, obviously they weren't sending out a ping because they didn't want to be found by the hunter killers. Except they were. Remember, they had the comm channel open and they were feeding power to it and had it live. Now, the one and only thing that can make this make any sense is if the comm unit was so weak that it didn't have its usual range. That would explain why they have to get, once again, within spitting distance. This is far more in spitting distance. This is like right here in spatial terms. They're practically brushing up against each other in terms of distance in space in order to finally detect these people. And it takes the Force to do it. And then they actually have to have the last minute, oh my god, the Malevolence is going to find us. No! And then for some goddamn reason, Dooku is just a stereotypical mustache-twirling idiot in this episode. Is that just me who noticed that? Like you must not allow them to escape, Grievous. Okay, I'll actually do the work then. You just keep standing there imperiously, your majesty. And then when he fails, there's this whole scene of, I will have to inform my master of your failure. What? While I'm on the subject of complaining, why is everyone so insistent on Luke, wow, on Anakin getting the hell out of there? Did you notice that? Like, Obi-Wan's like, you need to get out of here, and his fleet people are like, you need to get out of here, and then the Jedi Council are like, you need to get out of here. The only one he listens to, of course, is Palpatine. I found that funny. But then Palpatine's like, you need to get out of here. Now, we know why Palpatine wanted that to happen. What was everyone else's motivation? His fleet's over there. You can't tell me that the inclusion of two Jedi is going to be a significant change in a space battle in an escort mission, but everyone's just chomping at the bit. No, you need to get out of there. They don't understand. If he had taken his fleet with them, I could understand their complaints, but instead it just feels like they're being the obstinate bureaucrat, which is a character archetype I've complained about many times, especially over in Star Trek. There are a couple good parts of this episode, though. I liked how Ahsoka kind of starts to develop into what will become her character, and I like the very first beginnings of actual character arc for Anakin Skywalker. As I've said many times before, I feel like Anakin really didn't get a lot of character growth that he needed in the prequel trilogy. I feel that's one of the flaws of the prequel trilogy. But I do think a lot of that character growth that he was part of his story was actually done properly in Clone Wars. And we do start to see that here. I'm not going to leave those people behind. We just have to do things a certain way. We have to play at the politics of the council. And I like that. That's all I got. See you around, guys.